Hi everyone, it is 5:30 p.m. here in Philippine time and you're watching Awesome10X. This is Nikki Yu for the Global Market Free Friday class. Thanks for watching and let's begin today's class. Okay, we will be discussing a very popular company. You probably use it every day and you can see clearly it's Zoom Video. Zoom Video is about to report earnings this Monday, August 22, 2022. Eat, sleep, Zoom, repeat. Why we believe owning the stock prior and after earnings would be a great accompaniment to your awesome 10x portfolio. Okay, in Zoom's website, they say that their mission is to make video communications frictionless and secure. And their vision is video communications empower people just to accomplish more. And of course, they have a value, care, community, customers, company, teammates, and themselves, as well as a culture of delivering happiness. Founded in 2011, Zoom is now listed in San Jose, in New York Stock Exchange, ticker symbol ZM, with the headquarters in San Jose, California. They have about roughly more than 6,000 employees. So, from stay at home to stay connected stock, obviously, Zoom has become very popular during the pandemic, and it is still in use even in a post pandemic world. You could see that Zoom has delivered not just meetings, but has gone to open up several APIs and software development kits: Zoom for Home, Zoom Phones, Zoom Chat Rooms, Zoom Rooms, Zoom Webinars, Zoom App Workplace, Zoom Events on Zoom. And as they said, make communications frictionless and secure. One reason why Zoom has become the most popular product in the applications on the video telephony space is just due to being simple and frictionless. So you can see that at $103, Zoom today is a $30 billion market cap. They do have about $5 billion in free cash, and they continue to churn out at least $4 billion of revenues in a year. So last year they hit $4.1 billion in full year 2022. They forecast their numbers a year ahead simply because most of these plans are paid a year in advance. So as of August 22, Zoom is now the 578th most valuable company in the New York Stock Exchange. They have affirmed that for full year 2023, that is for next year, they believe their revenues can continue to grow at least 10 to 12%, hitting about $4.5 billion with a non-GAAP operating income of $1.5 billion. Weighted average share count is at 309 million, and their average earnings per share would be about $3.70, making the company today trading at $100. If you negate the fact that the $25 billion, owing to the fact that they do have a cash position of $5 billion, and they generate a free cash flow every quarter of about $500 million, that means that they have significant, if you see this, that's 5.7. So from 4.7 billion as of 1Q 2023, they now have 5.7. You add up about $2 billion for this year. That means that they will have a cash position, a free cash position of another 2 billion. So 5.7 plus 2.2 billion, 7.7. That gives the Zoom market cap only at 23 billion. So $23 billion divided by about $1.5 billion of operating income makes it trade at about between 15 to 15 times multiple, 15 times EBIT on the operating income. Okay. So you can see that in the past, it had started in $75 million per quarter, and now they generate in Q2 2022, a year ago, they generated still $1 billion. Actually, that remains strong with a continued top line expansion, sharing in Q1 highlights still at $1 billion. So you've got actually strength after strength, and that's the reason why they're confident to give that full year guidance of $4.5 billion. If you take a look closely, they have been expanding their customer base, and I'll show to you that they have several customers that are enterprise. So let's go through some of these numbers. So in their Q1 2023, Q1 2023 earnings, they reported last May 23. These are the big deals that they've done. Zoom has acquired Solvi. This is their contact center offering. This will accelerate their expansion in conversational AI, which is computed to be an $18 billion market by 2026. Zoom Contact Center broadens their offerings with an automated, easy to deploy service center and integrated service center to deliver customer happiness. So they are now into the game of contact centers, which is automated. Now, take note that they used to want to acquire Five9 and they weren't able to do so. So instead, they went into the contact center business still by simply acquiring a solution so that Zoom can be in that target market. So that is an $18 billion target market by 2026. Now, they've also launched Zoom Whiteboard and Zoom IQ for sales. Let's take a look at this Zoom Whiteboard for you. Zoom Whiteboard is this here. So, as part of their strategy, more and more business workflows have happened within their platform. They have launched Zoom Whiteboard and Zoom IQ for sales. Zoom Whiteboard aims teams with the power of continuous collaboration and easy to use solution, providing a virtual workspace to collaborate before, during, and after a meeting. And to help sales reach their full potential, we've launched Zoom IQ for sales. It is a conversational AI solution analyzing customer interactions to surface key insights, actions, and content from sales meetings. This product encapsulates their strategy to move into adjacent workflows horizontally and vertically, ensuring customers are getting more and more out of the platform. So this is the Zoom Whiteboard. You could see that we can explore the video if we wish, but this is already included with all Zoom accounts. So within, it's designed for many use cases, obviously for teachers, educators, or basically any work life wherein you need to have a canvas to add images, templates, and just make presenting a lot easier. You can also leverage Zoom's platform, so while you're discussing this, you can integrate it perfectly when you are collaborating, sharing, creating real-time interactive whiteboards in your Zoom meetings while you're running. So online whiteboard features, you can gather your team, interact and collaborate with them, ideate, organize, and act with your sticky notes, sort of like the Atlassian. So companion whiteboard, you can add a Zoom whiteboard to any Zoom room, allow everyone to work just from any Zoom-enabled device, both on-site and remote. Complements Zoom Rooms with a dedicated companion whiteboard. Zoom Rooms for Touch, so this is an all-in-one digital whiteboard solution for your Zoom room, fully integrated cameras, speakers, interactive touch board display, giving you full control of your system. So as basics, it's included already. You can get started with Zoom Whiteboard, up to 3 concurrently editable boards and a standard online whiteboard features included. Now, if you want to add it on, there's also a $2.49 per month for unlimited editable whiteboards. And for business and enterprise, obviously, it is unlimited editable boards and a standard online whiteboard features included. Another evolution that Zoom has had is to launch packaging and translation features. Zoom One is a new offering. They launched this in a press release June 23, 2022 for persistent chat, phone meetings, and in a more scalable package. You can now allow meetings to be translated within English or any of the 10 languages from those languages into English. So they've unveiled conversational AI. As they said, simplicity is at the core of everything we do. And businesses realize time and cost savings that a single provider can offer. So according to Omdia's latest end user survey, 40% of organizations are prioritizing investments around eliminating multiple cloud-based user solutions that may be deployed within their organizations. They need to simplify business operations that we see as being increasingly important, and Zoom One's tiered bundles and common management console aligns well to this customer demand. So you're already seeing that everyone loves a one-stop shop that Microsoft has done. And so the other companies have been working with Zoom, creating apps. Now that Zoom one is actually an integration which was actually evident since 2021. You can notice that Zoom acquired a startup creating real-time translations on your video calls. So as anyone talks in Japanese, you can now actually translate it straight to English just through Zoom. Now, what are the top competition and the tools that are in the video conferencing category? So far, you could see that Google Meet has been the widest used alternative for video conferencing tools aside from TeamViewer. Skype has as well, Microsoft Teams for the rest, then GoToMeeting. So these are some of the applications that the world is using for their video conferencing. And the industries that mostly use Zoom are education, marketing, and technology. Obviously, there are some risks. We will discuss about these trends that are happening as well, Zoom fatigue, and so on. But before that, let's just go through some history lesson. So, in terms of history, for those who aren't aware, Zoom is listed and has been priced on an IPO of $36 per share in 2019, April 17. That was a year before the pandemic. So, at that point in time, the conferencing company was worth with a debut of $9.2 billion. Today, it is roughly at about just double that price if you exclude the cash per share that Zoom currently has. Since 30 minus 7 billion, it's roughly $20 billion. So you're actually just paying a doubling of the IPO's market since the IPO. Now you can see that since IPO, Zoom used to trade at a 60% spike since debut, as demand was very high for this profitable and fast growing company. And you can see that Eric Yuan, the CEO, which was and currently chairman, since June, they have a new executive. We will be discussing the new executives inside Zoom video. But you could see that they were founded in 2011, i.e., they are just an 11-year company so far. They just finished their 10th anniversary last year. They used to IPO with sales only at $330 million a year with a net income of $7.5 million, i.e., this used to be a very, very expensive debut. And yet, even so, the market was correct in buying Zoom video. And you could see that Zoom video, which started obscure with 330 million sales, has actually reached 4.5 billion or 15 times their sales revenues since just 3 years ago. So pretty outstanding, and 15 times sales revenues, and from $7 million of income, you obviously have income of about operating income is now $1.5 billion. So from 7 million to a consistent $1.5 billion. So this is a company that is a high cash flow generating company. You can also see that as of their first quarter, 2022, they had a strong growth in revenues from their enterprise, and they finally hit 3 million Zoom phones seats during just their first quarter, with a lot of enterprise renewal rates improving for that quarter. They had strong results for all their revenue cohorts, especially for the more than 10 employees. These were, let's take a look at the historic metrics. So take a look back from History Lane. In Q2 2021, they only had $600 million per quarter. What's astounding there is that prior to that, they only had in 2019 a total yearly sales of 330 million. So obviously, the pandemic jumpstart the business into popularity through popularity and by just the ease of use, and they were able to sustain all that growth and all those members continuing way after the pandemic. And so from just a mere $7 million income, you now have a great income of this $1.5 billion per year. Take a look on their free cash flows. They had hit $500 million or half a billion of free cash flows per quarter. They have $2 billion now of free cash flows being generated per year. So, in case you're wondering how much free cash flow are they, then that means it's getting priced in today at about 11 times free cash flows. Now, in terms of enterprise customers, you have seen it grow all throughout from 100,000 customers of enterprise. They doubled that to about 200,000 customers in just 2 years. And customers with greater than 100,000 trailing 12-month revenue has tripled from 988 customers to 2,916 customers. While the growth has slowed down, obviously, from peaking at about $1 billion of sales per quarter, again, we repeat, this is $1 billion of sales per quarter that is highly recurring. And so, from a growth at a value price, Zoom Video would be in a limited downside and growing at a reasonable price and valuation. So customers with more than 10 employees have grown from 370,000 clients here to about 500,000 clients. So far, they have been muted at about 500,000 clients in the customer space that are greater than 10 employees. And the revenue percentage from the customers with greater than 10 employees is about 68%. So 68 versus 32, that means it's two-thirds, one-thirds. Two-thirds on these greater than 10 employees, one-third is from enterprise willing to pay more than $100,000 a year. So the 12-month net percentage expansion rate also for those companies with greater than 10 employees is about 120%, meaning that they are able to still generate a higher than 100% on the per year. So net retention revenues. So those are actually strong numbers. And we expect more of just the same, if not better, growth for Zoom Video. So you can see that money has actually flown into Zoom over the last 2 years. So starting from 9 billion to as high as 150 billion around the time of 2020, and then has since fallen down from that $150 billion all the way towards current level of about 30 billion. Now, we would argue that the 30 billion minus $7.7 billion of cash means that Zoom Video only trades today at 23 billion, just a doubling of their prior IPO, despite net income from 7 million hitting a $1.5 billion net income, and with sales prior to this of about 330 million per year to today's sales of about 4.5 billion, which is 15 times. So from an argument perspective, simply on sales and sales revenues and earnings per share, Zoom Video is currently now trading as a value name, not necessarily as a growth stock. So these are, of course, the offerings. You could see that they charge $150 per year per user. This is the Zoom Pro. You've also got Zoom Business, which is $200 per year per user, wherein you can have meetings up to 300 attendees. You can have messaging, group chat, and file sharing. You could have unlimited whiteboards and a 5 gig cloud storage for your recorded material. So most of the businesses usually take this option of about $200 per year, since they may have more than 300 attendees for their meetings. So the thesis that we will make is that Zoom Video is indeed not a stay-at-home stock and is really a stay-connected stock in the future of hybrid work. So the future of hybrid work is, in our view, forever, not just now or not just a few years after pandemic. The role of enabling communications worldwide must happen and must continue, which means that they are gonna be an essential product for many companies and those with employees that are just greater than 10. Maintain customers and other stakeholders' trust. They continue to scale and expand business to meet the needs of the customers and the global community. Organizations have moved beyond addressing just an immediate business continuity need to actively redefine and embrace new approaches to support a future of working anywhere, learning anywhere, and the connecting anywhere. Therefore, we believe that there is a meaningful establishment of Zoom's video-first unified communications platform across industries and geographies. So in their piece, Future of Work, Zoom video has proven that so much can be achieved just through new ways of working. We are now focused making proactive contributions to reimagine the future of work. Research has shown employees value the flexibility afforded by this new working model, and many do not wish to return to a full-time in-office work. This certainly applies to Zoom's own employees. Recognizing these preferences, we introduce three employee-led work styles. Going forward, the vast majority of employees will have a choice where they work. Some will work from a home office, others will always work from a Zoom office, but for most of us, it will be a mix of both. Offering employee led work styles is in line with our strategy to deliver happiness for current and future Zoomies. To lead the future and reopen the offices, we established an internal cross functional team, gathering employee feedback, understanding local and country mandates, coordinate process and policies for the new work reality. To facilitate the return to office, such as workplace reservation and health checks, and several proof of concept office reopenings. In each other, Zoom Video believes in improving the flexible hybrid working model. So also you can see in many surveys, Americans are embracing flexible work and it is here to stay. They want more of it. According to surveys of job holders in USA, 58% or the equivalent of about 92 million Americans say they want to work remotely at least part of the time. 35% of them wants to work from home full time. 23% wants to do so partly. So that means that there is this 55 million and 36 million who wants to work on a remote hybrid future work. Now, the new normal, so basically our thesis is that this new normal or new hybrid of work means that it has to bring a humanity into technology, which Zoom video obviously has been doing and adding and doing more value added services rather than just a plain old screen. So you've seen Zoom apps, Zoom events, backstage Zoom events. We'll be discussing the new and improved security functions as well as the apps that completely integrate within your Zoom experience, such as just an integration with DocuSign, for instance, in case you have to sign anything online. So connection has been critical now more than ever. Simplicity is still the way to generate all the customers. So empowering people to move physical to virtual. Meetings are, of course, fatigues. So meeting rooms are now changing. Knowledge workers, by and large, obviously want flexibility and optionality in the way they work. And of course, the best companies listen to employees. And with the majority of the trend, overarching 58% want a hybrid work facility, we believe that therefore Zoom has that structural reason to remain heavily relevant for any of your workplace and for anyone who wants to have a workplace software name that is high free cash flows and high margins for their portfolio. So 2022 obviously is a pivotal year for Zoom. So this is Eric Yuan. You could see that GAAP operating margin has improved to about 26%. Very strong results with a $4 billion revenue, and they continue to expand this to $4.5 billion. Net cash was exceeding $1.6 billion or 40% of their revenue last year. They also discussed that they are now a multi-product platform, including chat, phone, video conferencing, whiteboard, contact center, events, and more. Zoom added more than 550,000 Zoom seats in Q4 full year 2022. In first quarter 2023, they now have 3 million Zoom phone seats since they launched that just 2021. So they also launched just in July 2021 Zoom events. This is an easy yet powerful solution, allowing customers to produce and host both an internal and external event. So in our view, Zoom events and Zoom contact center will be a value added service, which will generate increasing revenues for Zoom video as time goes by. So going forward, Zoom apps have launched already 100 apps right into the Zoom meeting experience, allowing an ecosystem of software developers to augment existing functionality that supports workflows. So example, you can use DocuSign to execute a contract. You can assign tasks via Asana. You can use Dropbox to take your meeting notes all within a Zoom meeting. So in terms of customer wins, let's discuss this. In Q1 2022, around May, they discussed that they got a customer win of Humana. This is the leading health and well-being company, expanding from just a Zoom meeting into approximately 24,000 Zoom phones that would integrate Zoom voice and Zoom video into their communications platform. They also added Avis Budget Group. This is a leading global provider of mobility solutions through Avis, Budget, and Zipcar. They have transitioned not just from being a Zoom meeting and Zoom room customer to being a broader UCaaS customer, wherein they stay seamlessly connected through 100 through 10,000 Zoom phones across many of the offices and car rental locations. In addition, the chat product further drives collaboration in a seamless, integrated way, where it's now being used also by a number of large enterprises, including a Fortune 10 company with over 130,000 users. So we don't know what that Fortune 10 company is, but that would, you can just isolate that, your Fortune 10, that would be somewhere from the ranks of Apple all the way towards Visa or MasterCard. So they also want to thank Lumio. Lumio is a happy Zoom meeting customer who has chosen Zoom Chat for the ease of deployment and collaboration across their teams. Of course, we've got to discuss all the new executives of Zoom Video. So you have a new president as of June 2022, Mr. Greg Tomb. You could also have new executives inside Zoom. Jason Lee and Jeff True, they went in last year. Jason Lee is going to be the Chief Information Security Officer for Zoom Video, and Jeff True becomes the General Counsel at Zoom. Let's discuss all of these Zoom new executives. Greg Tomb, as president, was former VP of sales of Google Workspaces, which means that Zoom obviously wants to become more than just a video conferencing platform and a bigger competition with your Google Meeting. Now, CIO Jason Lee was former SVP of security operations at Salesforce, and Jeff True is a former EVP and general counsel at Palo Alto Networks, one of the largest cloud security firms in the world. So here we can see Greg Tomb brought more than 20 years of experience from Google Cloud, where he was VP of sales in Google Workspace. He was also in SMB, data and analytics, geo enterprise, and security sales, all from Google. Obviously, Eric Yuan still will remain as the CEO and founder. Greg Tomb is going to be president. He will be going to oversee the market strategies, revenue efforts, and office of the globe. You'll see that they would enable a lot of cross-sell. Could see that because he was sales of vice president of sales of Google Workspace, chances are he would be heading a lot of workspace or work productivity platforms for Zoom. The hiring of Chief Information Security Officer from Salesforce obviously is to make sure that Zoom is a highly very strong protection system, no? So cybersecurity. Hiring is the strengthening of security offerings since they had a huge explosion in user growth. So that would be a strong security thing. Let's talk about some risks. So obviously, this one is a very real thing. Zoom fatigue. So a lot of people cannot actually spend the entire day just doing a lot of Zoom calls. And you can see that live events is obviously another thing that is seen as a competition for people on Zoom. Now, we saw how Zoom transition that weakness of live events or reopening to be an all-in-one solution to power up and create more memorable live and virtual experience where all attendees around the world can love. Expo, which is a direct product from Zoom Events, helps hosts create more opportunities for live networking among attendees, speakers, and sponsors. On the virtual expo floor, attendees can now move freely around the space, network with individuals through one on one chat, and even join other participants in expo booths for topic based conversations. So far in one of their Zoomtopias in 2020, they've discussed that in 2017, there was only 488 attendees and 10 sessions with 35 estimated speakers. Now, with the Zoomtopia, we have about 50,000 plus attendees, 90 plus sessions, and 250 plus speakers, 100% free and virtual. During that time, they also discussed that they were able to help 300 million daily meeting participants. Yes, that is every day. So, number 14 in terms of global Alexa ranking, Zoom has become the number one app during 2020, obviously during the pandemic, with $3 trillion plus analyzed meeting minutes. So obviously, Zoom has transitioned not just from being your COVID pandemic partner to actually an all-in-one solution. Zoom has a lot of buys. You could see that there are several analysts covering Zoom, 29 analysts, with a mean consensus of outperform. At current levels of 103, a lot of analysts on consensus believes that there's a target of about 20% and a higher target of 84% with your low target of about 12%, i.e., from a reward perspective, your downside is $90, your upside is $190, and an average target price of about 125. So your upside is between 20 to 80%, downside of 10%, that's giving you 1:2 or 1:8 risk reward ratio. So yeah, my meeting is short, but I hope that it was sweet enough for you to decide whether the future of work is indeed captured in a secular trend winner like Zoom. For me, though, I give this company a buy, just like our thesis in the past that the future of work involves a hybrid. And for most companies, Zoom is that solution. For about $199 per year, believe that those 500,000 customers will continue to stay. And that just spells 500,000 times 20, 200, sorry, is a $10 billion revenue. So some might actually say that this company is very low in terms of sales. It's actually trading just about 4 times price to sales today, which has been one of the lowest in its historical time since IPO. So we give this company more of a buy. How do you execute your buys? Obviously, you can just buy one share. You can buy it through any brokerage firm. You can try to open your own accounts. We will help you how to open your Webull account, how to open an eToro account, how to open your IBKR accounts. We'll do that in several videos, how to do it. Now, beginners can obviously own for as little as $100. You can own one share of Zoom, or you can even do fractional shares. So most of us believe in passive investing when the company obviously has a secular run up ahead. So you've got a secular runway, you've got free cash flows. We don't see significant downside, as I say. This company continues to be our buys, and it should be in an Awesome 10X secular trend portfolio. If you are building a 10-year portfolio with the intention of investing, keep your buys on Zoom video. That's all that we have to say, and thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for Awesome 10X Free Friday classes. Thank you.